baby.
Oh, yes!
Yeah, baby!
This is the Sport Fishing Championship.
It's the third and final stop of the Sport Fishing Championship crowning day. This morning show live from San Juan International Billfish Tournament in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Robbie Floyd and Peter Miller here with you on this championship crowning day. Somebody's going to walk away with a Zane Gray Championship trophy. And Peter, the fish catches have been unbelievable. They took off like they've done the past 2 days from the port here at Club Nautico. It is a majestic sight as they leave, heading out into this blue marlin territory.
You know, you got to love being on site at this event when you're seeing 50 to 60 boats going by. The 69th annual San Juan International Billfish Invitational. This is a special event. All the guys are waving to us as they're going by because they're loving what they're seeing on TV, on the website, the sportfishingchampionship.com, and it is exciting.
Puerto Rico plays host to this 10th and final stop. Stop number 10 of 10. We've traveled around the Gulf, the Atlantic. We make our way back down to the Caribbean. And San Juan is the actual host, the Castillo San Felipe del Morro, right there on the point. That's where they took off from just 1 minute ago. They don't have to go very far. You look into the water and you see those dark colors. That means it gets deep really quick. And our Garmin team spotter has them not too far offshore already. And as close as they are, they're in prime territory right now.
Oh, yeah, 1 mile to 3 miles, possibly 5 miles off the coast. And then they have a 30-mile stretch where they could fish either west or east.
Sorry, Victoria, 1,050 points. That means they have 3 blue marlin on board. They're the only team with 3 blues. Several tied behind with 700 points, including Quantified, who's trying to take that SFC title this week.
9 boats tied for second place. If that's not a neck-and-neck race, I don't know what is. But 1 fish will break that tie, put him in second place overall, but 2 fish will put them in first.
Absolutely. Sorry, Victoria caught that blue marlin, that third blue marlin, first out of that entire group. That means they would have that tiebreaker as far as the local event structure. Let's take a look at Cervecita. It means small beer, and they will be cracking open a few if they can win this event. They need a couple more blue marlins. They had the first catch of the tournament, and that's very important.
You know, I'll tell you what's very important is the Cervecita is a small beer. It stays cold. You drink it quickly, and everybody is satiated. That's what you want. And these guys are satiated because they've got a blue marlin on the end of their line going over that beautiful teak wood, and they are cranking it, backing down, getting tight on that fish.
8:30 on the first day. I mean, this was 30 minutes after they launched, and we had our first blue on the line, Javier Berrios.
Look at that. He takes that leader. He's holding on. They know they got it, and the fish gives a little jump. As he walks away, he doesn't even see it. He didn't see that majestic slow-mo jump. Everybody take a look at this one. He's like, okay, we're done here. Walking away. Nothing to see here. Takes his wraps, pops off, and then what? 1, 2, 3. Pop.
Just let the magic happen. Just let the magic happen. And that means they can put their lines back in the water, try and catch another one again. It's about doing it quick. They have a 2.5-hour time limit, Peter, but the quicker, the better. Put the lines back in, catch another one.
That's right. Some of these fish are big, you know. So you're going to be a short fight on a small fish. On the 400-pounders, you might be on it for 2.5 hours.
Club Nautico, the host. We've had a Club Nautico event before, the CNSD event in the Dominican Republic. Now we're in Puerto Rico, and this 120-boat slip facility is amazing. About half of them are full right now because the other half are out there into the Caribbean. I'm Robbie Floyd. He's the man who's won so many World Sailfish Championships. 3, in fact, right?
That's right. Thank you, Robbie.
That's right. I keep watching it on the commercials. That 3-time World Sailfish Champion.
That's my voiceover. It's my mom's voiceover.
Are we ever going to have a 4th? Are you ever going to go back out there and competitively fish?
No. Yes. I just we fished in Guatemala in December. We won that tournament with 41 sailfish over a 3-day period. We missed a bunch though, and that's something we need to talk about here. You know, there's 40 fish caught in this tournament, but there's also a lot of misses because you know not every fish gets hooked up, so they pull the hooks, and they have to report the pulled hooks, the bites, the raises, and the releases, so it keeps everything fair and square, and you know what's going on at all times.
That's part of it, part of that execution. I know the numbers. We're going to be approaching, when we come on air at the top of the hour on the CBS show, we're going to be approaching 500 billfish caught in the Sport Fishing Championship in its first year. That's pretty amazing.
That sure is. That's a lot of fish. And if you think about that number and you think about the misses, there's got to be 1,000 fish that probably came up in the spreads, and you don't even know. Some of the fish were deep down there. We never even saw them. Luckily, they have dredge cams, and they can review their footage and see some of those fish tailing and trailing those dredges, which is pretty exciting to see.
Well, with cameras, you can see under the water in those dredges and see what's happening in these billfish. But what about our cameras that are shooting in the sky last night? Let's take a look at what we saw last night. It was quite the presentation with a Sky Elements drone show. And we've seen it on camera before, Peter, but we'd never been there in person to watch it. It was unbelievable.
You know, it's so incredible to see this and then to have our own team actually flying a drone around this sequence.
There's been all
that is what I'm talking about. This gives you the full spectrum.
We saw the marlin, we saw history, some of the key things about the Sport Fishing Championship, the SFC logo ablaze, and there were hundreds of people out there checking this out.
I just saw you on camera, Robbie, with your cell phone filming Gracias, Puerto Rico.
You keep talking about those pec fins and the big shoulders. We saw those on the drone last night, a little movement. But it is pretty incredible just what they can do. I think it's a Texas-based company in the DFW area, and they put on a show. You know, there were some locals here going, what in the wide world is going on?
200 plus drones that I saw, and I'll tell you what, they had some pizza laying around after that, and I grabbed a couple slices. That was my dinner, so I'm starving right now. But let's talk about Team Caramba.
Who knew there was a Papa Juan's here in San Juan? Team Caramba, they caught one at 12 just the other day, and the seas were a little bit different between day 1, day 2, and we're hearing they might be different here on day 3.
Yeah, you wake up and you see those white caps outside your hotel window. Beautiful view here. Every hotel you stay at, you seem to be getting a view of the ocean. And, you know, these guys know what they're doing. They got everything ready to go. They're kind of chill right now. They're waiting for that bite.
3 different anglers on these boats, and they have to rotate on the hour from that position. That's something different we don't normally see, whether it be at a Gulf or an Atlantic event.
That's right. That's a clockwise position change every hour. And if you can't make it, if you have to run inside and use the potty, sorry, buddy, you're going to miss your fish and no one can touch your rod. So you're going to need to figure it out. What I mean is you're going to need to get a bucket.
Caramba, the 64-foot Briggs. And they've got one spotted.
This fish is coming up so hot on the teaser. This is one of my favorite teaser bites of the season. This is a nice size blue, getting ready to tear up that green squid chain, and that is some eat. But you got to get that squid chain away from that fish, or that fish will leave the spread. He will not like what he's feeling, and you got to pitch that ballyhoo back. He's going to have his tip up in the air, ready to drop.
If it gets a taste of that soft plastic, it knows it's not the real thing. He's dropping back what simulates the real thing.
5 seconds, and he's about to lock it up. Keep that rod tip low. He's already on.
You hear it taking the drag now.
He's got his clicker off. The fish is running. They're still going full speed. They're going 7 knots right now. These guys want to get their baits out of the way because that fish is running right into his bait. So he's the first guy that's got to clear it.
And that sound, one is actually whining, but I could hear it running through the spool. You want to let that fish take that bait and run with it, don't you?
Oh, yeah. You got to let them do what they got to do. It's a ballet. You know, you got to give and take, give and take. But if you notice, they're going 7, 8 miles an hour, 8 knots.
They're cooking.
And he is cranking it in. That means the fish is racing at the boat, so the captain's got to keep it in gear. Otherwise, they're not going to stay tight.
Yeah, the one thing, and no matter what type of fishing you have, your enemy is slack line, right?
That's right, unless it's a circle hook. A circle hook gives a little forgiveness because once they get in there, they generally do not come out. See, that right there, I'm not sure exactly what he's saying, but it sounds to me that there might be another fish coming in the spread because you notice the cameraman is back on that teaser, and that teaser is still out. That's not something you would have out if you didn't have another fish up.
I think he was talking about how that fish might be moving off to the side there. He's laughing now, but once you have one on, they have 2.5 hours to get that fish, the hand up onto the leader or that leader up into the rod tip to be considered a qualified catch.
That's right. They use a knot called a cat's paw, and they run it through, and they have the double line. They have a bimini twist, and then they put this wind-on leader on like 5 or 6 times through that. So it's 2 double lines connected together by a knot called a cat's paw. Robbie, are you familiar with a cat's paw?
I'm not.
Okay. Victor
Garcia, he's cranking it in. Again, the moment they make contact with that leader, it is a qualified catch. But it's still, there's a lot of pressure on this man.
Yeah, he's
got a 50-pound line. We want to point that out too.
As long as he stays tight and doesn't put a lot of heat on it, they're going to get that leader, that wind-on leader, in the tip of the rod, and the mate is going to grab that leader. Once he touches it, once it touches the tip of the rod, you're golden. But you're always going to get a little water in the cockpit, even on a calm day like that. You're going to back down. You're going to give a little more than you think because it's calm, and water gets in there. You get that high water alarm. Your sneakers get wet, keeps you cool. His drag's not even all the way pushed up to the button there. You see, he's not even full pressure right there. So he's, you know, he's letting things happen as they may. Keep
Same
it
thing
smooth
goes. Yeah, he's not laying the wood to it.
No.
And that's why they back it up, and he's just trying to make up ground.
That's
or
right.
back it down.
They're backing.
He's backing it up. He's
There.
backing that thing up right there,
Yeah.
all the way to the blue marlin.
It's a real fine marlin once you back that thing up.
Yep, that's what I hear. Qualified catch already at this point, right? I mean, it's a done deal. Now they're either
And
trying
my
to get
favorite
their lure
jump
back.
comes there.
That was awesome.
I love that.
Totally horizontal. Dorsal fin.
They have the
sticking out.
ability to actually kind of bend their heads down when they get angry and jump, and they can actually contort their top of their head, which is always amazing to me. You'd figure they're just like a stiff, solid piece of material, but they are not. They can actually flex that head.
Captain looking. Now this is the point they're trying to. Now he's laying it to it.
They've got the release. Now he's short pumping it and cranking it with everything he's got. And we've got a terminal tackle failure right there. We got Weekend at Bernie's. He's okay, guys. We've seen this before. We want to let you know he's okay. Have no fear. The guys are laughing. He's laying there going, holy moly, I can't believe I just did this on TV.
What just happened? We don't have a camera boat. We don't have a camera on board, do we?
I think he said, ay caramba. I think I just heard it.
Among other things. Captain's going to give him hell for quite some time, the whole crew. Hey, but they'll take that all day long. Qualified catch, you know, pop the line at the very end. It's all good.
Listen, if he didn't pop that line, they might be on that fish for another half hour to an hour, so you don't want that. So that actually worked out in his favor, believe it or not.
So it took a little while once to do this, and your big movement as that fish jumps from right to left. Here it comes. Here it comes. Right here. Yeah.
Yes. That's the majestic blue marlin, everybody. That's why we're all here. That's why we have so many fish on the board. Puerto Rico, the fishing is right off the coast, and we got a snapback right there. We got a man down. We got a piper down.
Piper down. Great job by Caramba. That 64-foot Briggs.
It's easy to grin when your marlins come in and you've got the stock market beat. But a man who could smile is a man who's worthwhile when he's...
How long have you been practicing on this? How long have you been practicing on this? Let's make the move to one of our other featured teams, Bandolera. Not Bandolero, but these are usually female names. Those Bandolera.
That's right.
66-foot Spencer with Manuel Battle, Manolo Felipez, Stephen Martin, Art McDonald, and Steven Weitzen on board.
Wow, you gave him a Weitzen.
Yeah,
you gave
I
him a V for his W? Wow.
Hey, with a name like Weitzen or Weitzen, I'm giving him full genealogical credit for that.
Well,
one.
what's interesting about this boat is this is a fish raiser. This is the guy. This is Steve from Fish Razor and his boy Steve Weitzen, and they have everything. They got their mud flaps and their teasers and their dredges, and they've got a little bit of everything because they got the inside scoop. They got the guy manufacturing these things.
And we've talked about that. I think we're going to bring some of this on board our CBS show at the top of the hour. I actually got to see it in person with our teasers and our spread, the way that it was lined up with one of those mud flaps in the back. And you could just see, it imitates a fish. It looks like a tuna is chasing a lure.
That's right. Different areas require different techniques. You might fish that lure that you just saw there with hooks in Hawaii for granders, but you might fish it here just as a teaser to elicit a strike to get the fish angry and come up swatting at it. Then you pitch them a bait.
Steven with that blue marlin catch, and you see, I'm not hearing a word, are you? I mean, we've seen teams with inter-ear communication. We've seen a lot of screaming throughout the year, yelling. I'm not seeing squat. Right?
There is no reason to scream. Once that fish is settled down, the lines are in. It's just, the angler and that fish and the captain, and they're kind of vibing with that fish. They're kind of rolling in and out, moving with the synergy, the energy of that fish and the angler. And all of a sudden, they're going to know that fish is coming up because he's going to wag his beak, he's going to wag his bill, and he's going to come up. And then they're going to race back and get that leader in the tip of the rod.
Well, there's some tip bend in there. Now that
that's
rod's
Weitzen.
doing some work.
You get him a Weitzen, but that's actually Weitzen.
No, that's what I said. That was Steven with the catch. But I'm saying we're actually seeing some rod bend this time.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not being soft. That he's actually putting 48 pounds of that 50-pound.
But notice his smooth stroke as he's coming up. He's kind of coming up. Two cranks down, coming up. Two cranks down. He's caught a lot of fish. I fished with him before, actually, in Miami. He's
asking that exact question you're talking about. You want me to go up? Is he wanting to bring this up?
No.
He's got scissors.
Where's the toy cutter?
Woo!
Really appreciate it.
Vámonos, Paco.
Nice job, guys.
Great job.
Nice job. I saw somebody do that, some football player. Good. It's all good. Fish raiser. Dredges. Pelagic apparel. Come get some.
Next up, we'll be seeing him sign the camera with a Sharpie here pretty soon. He's going rock star on us already.
Oh, when he goes into autograph mode, you better take your baby out of the way. Sign the forehead. You better be careful when Whiteson comes around if he catches a marlin. He's fired up.
What goes on there? I have no idea what you're talking about there, but it sounds good. It sounds fun. Team Quantified, look at this. Day 2, they catch 2 blue marlin after how many on day 1?
0.
And this is our team in the lead. They took the Gulf Division Championship, and they're trying to win the first ever sport fishing championship here in Puerto Rico. And boy, did they get going yesterday. And I think they might have had a couple of misses. They could be on top of the leaderboard.
Well, I saw Tex, the captain, come out. Justin, he came out of the party the first night, and he didn't look, he looked too happy. But I'll tell you what, he's happy right now.
Again, this was the first catch of the day, and as soon as they made contact with that leader, that's all they're worried about now. We are done. Let's get rid of this fish, and let's go try and catch another
That's
one.
right. Yet it's always nice to see a jump at the end of the fight. They do want to get rid of it, but they like a little jump right at the boat. That's always nice if they can.
Now, we have other teams that fish the SFC
There it
that are
is.
in this championship hunt, fishing out of somebody else's boat. These guys are fishing out of their own boat. They drove 2,200 miles just to get here.
And that is no small task. That's a 6-day journey. We did that journey from the Dominican back to Miami, and we had an unfortunate circumstance occur where we lost our shaft and prop right in the middle of a 4,000-foot depth. It's not like you're going to dive down and get it. That thing sinks faster than a Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I was wondering where you were going at that, though. But Maddie with that second catch, and it was done at the end of the day. They actually had to go into extra time to get that fish in. They have 2.5 hours from hookup, and they were, I think, a 2-hour fish on there, but they were making sure they got that qualified catch.
And they had their cameras on, they had their cell phones on, they had everything filming that.
Absolutely. And an observer, by the way. 9 o'clock at the top of the hour, we will be on CBS Sports Network. Let's look through some more catches here in just a bit, Peter.
I can't wait.
Let's do it again. We are crowning a champion. That Zane Gray Trophy will be handed out tonight by our commissioner, Mark Neifeld. Who's going to take it right now? Quantifies looking really good. Who's going to take the win here in Puerto Rico? Right now, sorry, Victoria on top.